Yeah, okay. Well, this is gonna hurt like a mother.
So I know I'm well over a decade late to the party, but I just recently finished the hit show, The Office. And I began to realize while watching this show, how much of a connection I began to feel towards these characters. You're so deeply tied in that when a character leaves, it feels like you're losing a friend. And as much as these endings can be emotional and sad, it's became one of my favorite parts of watching TV shows. If I'm gonna dedicate so much time to these characters and their stories, there needs to be a resolution. So that's what this video is about. If you can't tell by that long intro and title and thumbnail, I'm gonna be giving my flowers to the best endings ever. I know we already started talking about it, but I feel like we gotta talk about the last episode of The Office, man. Oh my god, The Office is easily in my top 5 favorite shows I've ever watched. And for some reason, for people who haven't seen The Office, it's like normal for us to call it overrated. I was one of the people that called The Office overrated before I watched it. And if you haven't seen it, you need to go check it out. The show is a mockumentary about a group of friends working at a paper company. And it ends with one of the most perfect finales of a show ever. I love the ending so much because it concludes a lot of stories that have been building up the entire show all into this one episode. Characters from the jump that have been wanting to get together, like Ryan and Kelly, even though their relationship is a little insane.
You gave your baby an allergic reaction just to talk to me?
And Jim and Dwight's friendship finally is like shown. They like hate each other the entire show, and then finally at the end, Dwight makes Jim his best man at his wedding, and then Jim's like, nah, can't do it. And then Michael Scott comes back, who is the main character, and he had left like 2 seasons before the show actually ended. He finally comes back for this one last episode and shows up as Dwight's best man.
I feel like all my kids grew up and then they married each other.
It's pretty hard to explain why the show's so good if you've never seen it, which is the case for most things here. But what The Office did right was give their fans closure. You can tell the characters are emotional about this end too, and it's one of the best I've ever seen. And then there's the show about the high school teacher that started selling meth.
A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
So the weird thing about the Breaking Bad ending is that it's not actually the ending. It's the ending to Breaking Bad, but then after this they made a movie directly after that takes place right when the show ends, which was weird to me. And then there's Better Call Saul, which I know happens before Breaking Bad, but you know what I mean. It didn't feel like the real ending to Breaking Bad. I watched the movie El Camino, which is based off of what happens after Breaking Bad, and it was cool. It was alright. It was cool. And I've never actually watched Better Call Saul. I heard it's a really good show. I just never watched it. And I think part of the reason I never really wanted to watch either of these is because Breaking Bad's outro was so perfect. The show's main character, Walter White, is diagnosed with cancer right at the beginning of the show, and the whole show is basically just a countdown till his death, or until he gets caught for selling meth. And the ending to the show wraps it up perfectly. I love this final shot so much because it just represents everything that happened throughout the show and him laying dead, finally getting caught by the police. It's just when you're watching the show, you're watching it from his perspective, so you want to see him get away with everything. And he does. And as sad as this may sound, it's one of the few shows that actually show the main character's ending. Because when you think about it, when other shows end, the characters just keep living on, and we never see how their stories actually end. And when you think about it, there's no actual ending until the end. Which I know sounds super existential and sad, but it's one of my favorite parts about the ending, and I'm glad Breaking Bad actually portrayed that. This is quite literally how the story of Walter White ends, and it's just not something I've seen from many shows. Okay, I know that got a little sad for a second, so let's lighten the mood a little bit. Let's talk about BoJack Horseman.
My mom died and all I got was this free churro.
For a show whose main characters are a horse, dog, cat, and 2 humans, cause why not? This show portrays real life and real people better than any show I've ever seen. It's not the picture perfect, happy, everything is great now ending. BoJack hurt these people a lot throughout the show, and his last moments with everybody show that. His last dance with Carolyn shows that their relationship is pretty broken at this point, but they still love each other and care for each other. His last moment with Todd shows BoJack talking about his sobriety and Todd giving him some words of encouragement to keep going, and then Todd hits us with the iconic,
"Oh well, it was nice while it lasted, right?"
Sure. It was nice while it lasted.
And then there's the final scene with Diane on top of the roof, and instead of telling you, I'll just show you.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? Life's a bitch and then you die, right?
Sometimes. Sometimes life's a bitch and then you keep living. But it's a nice night, huh?
Yeah. This is nice.
It's such a bittersweet but beautiful ending, the sentiment that life can suck but it keeps going. It's not a forced happy ending, it's perfect for what the show was, and they could not have done it better.
Wouldn't it be funny if this night was the last time we ever talked to each other?
A good ending is applicable to pretty much anything, not just TV shows. I decided to focus on TV shows because I feel like a good show ending is so important, but there are plenty of movies with really good endings too. Get Out's ending is so insane that it changes the way you watch the movie the next time around. Good Will Hunting shows a lot of character development and change throughout the film and ends with a lot of closure. The Truman Show ends in one of the most surreal but beautiful ways ever, and the list goes on. And the same can be said for music. Tyler the Creator's Igor is a love story throughout the whole project, beginning with falling in love, then tackling the heartbreaks that come with it, and then eventually getting over it. And the final song, Are We Still Friends, is the perfect outro. Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly ends with him reciting a poem that he had been revealing the entire project, and then it's revealed at the end that he's interviewing Tupac. I remember hearing this outro for the first time like, bro, what? The point is, a good ending means everything. We all want closure in our lives, and movies, shows, albums all resemble life in a way. It's a journey of ups and downs, all eventually coming to a conclusion. And these writers have a lot of responsibility when it comes to making the perfect exit for their show or whatever they're making, and making the picture perfect exit for the viewer as a thank you for sticking around. I know I probably missed a lot of really good endings throughout this video. It's hard to get them all into one video though, so if I missed any, leave them down in the comments below. But with that being said, it's time to talk about the best ending of them all, the ending to this video. Shack Attack, ba 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 ba.